Yeah.
Good, be good. All right. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Standing in Strength Summit number 2. I am your host, Larnie Mulvey, and I have the next speaker up, Dawn Bates. She is not only one of my friends, but she's helped me publish my first ever book that's taken 20 years for me to write. And she pretty much kicked me in the butt to get it going because we all know that we have a story, and I finally was able to tell my story and get it out into the world, and now a different journey has began. So again, with the Standing in Strength Summit, we're connecting you to people who are bringing value and giving access to their gifts, and letting the world know that you can ask, find out information for yourself. And if you don't want to get a hold of her now, there's always a way to get a hold of Dawn and get a hold of me, and I can connect you with any of the speakers somehow. So anyway, we're talking about the realms of strength on this summit. So networking, mentorship, leadership, health and wellness, and fitness, and I'm missing one.
Entrepreneurship.
I was like, I was like, yeah. And then I always miss one for some reason. But Dawn, please, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then, give us what your power is when it comes to the realms of strength.
Oh, well, depends on who you ask, really, I guess, and how they know me. But someone said to me recently, we were discussing something, and I was saying I've never fitted in. I've never really felt that I belonged anywhere. I never felt that I belonged in my family. I never belonged in the groups at school. I didn't really belong in the business community. I don't really belong on land, if truth be told. So my strength is just creating my life on my terms and speaking my truth. And it's quite interesting because recently I was on a business networking event, and it was the second one of this organization, and I just thought, oh, so bored. And we were supposed to be networking because it was a networking event.
Right.
And in the 2 hours, I met 3 people, and all I found out about them was their name and where they were based. The rest of it was the host droning on, going on, and then on a bit more. And I was like, you know what, I'm done. I don't even want to be. And all I did was I said, oh, can I just ask if we're actually going to do any networking? And apparently she took offense to that and my attitude. And then there's this big, huge investigation into my attitude and my language. And I was in BBC mode, so I know that my language wasn't a thing. But I've always found that my strength has always been the one asking the questions that other people don't want to ask, or they're too uncomfortable to ask, or it's been writing the books or the articles and calling people forward and I never really noticed it before, but it's becoming more and more prominent because I'm like, I really want your fire on my spine. I'm like, oh, okay. Because as you know, there's a flame that I publish on each of the books, because the fire is us standing for the things that we're truly passionate about, and burning the boxes of that we've been put into by society, and just saying, no, I'm going to be me, and it doesn't matter whether I fit in or not. So standing in your strength and knowing that, yeah, it can be a very lonely journey. And you are going to piss people off, and people aren't really going to like what you stand for a lot of the time. And you are going to be, doing things and being someone that other people want to be. And you are going to intimidate other women, and you are going to intimidate men. I've been single for 4 years, and, I'm happy being by. If I ever meet someone, I meet them. If I don't, then I'm happy by myself. Do I like a snuggle and a cuddle and a kiss? Yeah, absolutely. Who doesn't? But I haven't had any of that for 4 years. But it's you know, it, I've got work to do in this world. I'm just being me. And if that happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. People have got to realize that being by yourself is not a bad thing.
How does that when it comes to business, when it comes to being the fire, not the fire starter, but the fire bearer, the fire carrier, you know, like how do you share that with people without burning them? You know, it's always
I don't know. I'll let you know when I find out.
But I think that's why I love connecting with you, Dawn, and I love having you here speaking with me on this summit, because we all have that fire within us. Some of it is just like a tiny little flame, but then other people, it's like so, like when I was trying to figure out what my voice was, and it like burned that fire in my throat, and now I'm able to use my voice so much more. And I feel like it's that takes that pressure, not the pressure, but it's like takes that cloak off that I've been hiding for so long. And I love that the fire is there. You know, like how do you bring
fire is in everybody?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I've got Escocés Fuego. I'm Scottish fire. The Celtic fire, the Mama fire, the Sagittarian fire, the feminine fire. It's like I am fire. But I own that. And I'm not going to apologize for who I am just because I make somebody else uncomfortable. Because the thing is, it's like when someone makes you uncomfortable, it's got nothing to do with them. It's all about what it is representing for you. For example, me being outspoken and me saying what I think is like, let's take, for example, my children used to go to a really preeminent private boys' school in the UK. There are very few mothers in that playground who liked me, I can tell you. And it was because I was not there to look good. I was there to educate my children. I was there to pick them up at the end of the day and then go home or go to the rugby ground or go swimming or do whatever it was. It was my children. It wasn't for me to fit in and be accepted and rock up in Jimmy Choos with my Louboutin, whatever. And like, that doesn't impress me. If you have to show how much money you've got, it's because you're feeling insecure in who you are. If you are intimidated by a woman who stands in her power, then it's a sign that you're not standing in yours. Or if you're feel threatened by somebody who is strong, maybe it's because that person represents somebody in your family or in your life that overpowered you, or you felt a weakness. If me speaking my truth and knowing my truth intimidates you, is that because you don't know what you stand for? Is that because you've got a journey to go on to find out what you stand for? You know, you and I, we're both advocates of women because we know what it's like to have been held back. We know what it's like to have, you know, been the outsider. I mean, I was an outsider, you know, the village I grew up in, there was only about 200 people, and most of those people were related to me. Not like not hi, give me 7 kind of related, but like third generation families. You know, my grandfather had 13 brothers and sisters. So did my grandparents.
Wow.
Yeah, like proper farming family. So like we had, you know, and then they've all gone and scattered. And so it wasn't that I didn't fit in because I was of a different ethnicity or because I was of a different, it's just because I was an opinionated little madam. And it was like, because I would ask the questions, well, why are we doing that?
Yeah.
Well, how does that work then? Okay, so and because I would be off in my little daydream all the time, you know, I was the one reading the books. I was the one going, wow, so there are all these countries in the world, and there's this international farm camp where everybody speaks a funny language. What's that language? I want to know that language. I want to speak that language. And then I'd make up my own language.
Yeah.
So it's like looking at what it is that being a strong woman I mean, I haven't got to where I've got to in my career and achieved everything I've got in my career and I've experienced in my career, whether that's sitting on the board of a Chamber of Commerce council or regenerating communities or coaching leaders and publishing international best-selling books time and time again on subjects that most people would really rather ignore. You know, my books are not easy books. And I understand that a lot of people, they don't know how to help with some of the issues that I speak about and that I write about. They're just too painful, but I'm willing to go there. I'm willing to say these issues need addressing. Right. Because if I don't, who will?
Right.
If I'm not a voice for change, who's going to be? And if I can be a voice for change, then I can inspire others to be a voice for change. And then that person can be a voice for change. And then it becomes a ripple effect. And then there are so many of us being a voice for change. But when people are intimidated by a strong person or an outspoken person or someone who stands in their truth and speaks their truth, and it makes them uncomfortable, we have to ask ourselves, why am I feeling uncomfortable?
Yes. Yeah. I feel like I went through that same stage in my life too, you know, like what was it that was holding me back, and like thinking about how I grew up and what were the things that were maybe subconsciously taught to me to stay small and don't embrace how strong I was in general. And to break out of that, I really had to own it. I had to respect I respected my culture and how I grew up, because that's just showing my respect to my parents. But like I had to show the respect to myself as well. And
yeah, you did.
Now it's like building, that I built her right here. This is who
I love that. I built her. I just love that. When you first said that to me, I was like, yes.
So now it's like, okay, how can I help the others? Like, I know how you want to bring your positivity, bring your community forward. And yes, we do have to face some of those hard things, but it's the only way we can move forward.
Well, the thing is, these things that I write about, whether it's the abuse, from in an abusive marriage or abusive friendships or narcissism or bullying in schools or rape and systemic racism, these things only are there because we all allow them to be there. And when people say, oh no, I don't allow it, it's like, okay, well, let's just look at it. What are you doing to change it? If your child is bullying another child, what are you doing and how are you being that has your child be a bully? What control are you taking away from your child that has your child feel they need to bully? Or what attention are you not giving your child if your child is a bully?
Wow.
Because the thing is, it's like the children that bullied my eldest son, they were bullies because the parents were bullying them into being on the rugby team, on the tennis team, on the cricket team. They were bullying them into being the best child. The child had no fun. The child didn't have space to just be themselves. They had to be the parents' this prized toy that the parents had given birth to and created, so that the parents could brag about how successful their child was. But also the child was watching how the parents were judging the other parents that didn't have all of the labels and the snobbery and the Chelsea tractors. The children were witnessing this. The children were witnessing from the programs that the parents allowed in their home or the conversations that, and when you see somebody staying in a job and your children are watching you stay in a job that you're not happy in, this is what you're teaching your children, that to be bullied or to be abused in your job or to be quiet and just shut up and stay in a job and do something you hate. This is what you're teaching your children. I mean, really, seriously, do you want your children to grow up and have the life that you're living? Or let's have a look at it. If you see a friend of yours that you know is in an abusive relationship and you're staying quiet, oh, well, it's not my place to stay. Absolutely, it's your place to stay. And it's not just you saying to the person, like your friend, it's you saying to their partner, you're out of order. If you don't stop it, I'm taking my friend out of here. This is why my friends love me, because I don't like. There was somebody that I like who was married to someone that I know. And I remember saying to this person, you are a sorry excuse as a husband.
Ooh.
I said, while you're sat there drinking and watching football and spending all your money on you looking good and all these on your motorbikes, your wife doesn't have a fridge and your child is 6 months old and it's in the height of summer. Why have you not bought a fridge freezer? You are a sorry excuse for a man. I was so rude. And I was so angry. I went for a walk and I came back and said, look, I apologize for speaking to you in the way I spoke to you. I didn't apologize for what I said. I apologized for the way I spoke, because everything I said was so correct and so accurate. But again, it's like you say, sometimes when we are this fire, it does burn people. But it wouldn't burn people if they didn't put the hand in the fire.
Yeah, so true. They that saying, like, don't touch, oh gosh, if you touch the oven, it's hot, you pull it away, like that. But then some
you
people
don't stick it in further.
But you want to see how
really
long you can
hot.
put your hand in the fire.
Oh, I know, if I cut myself with this really sharp knife, it's going to hurt. Oh, I'm just going to cut myself anyway. And I get it. We don't all have the tools.
Right.
But again, it's like all these people that see the stuff that we do and they see the stuff that I write and they hear the things that I say. And then they become these grossly obese inspiration eaters that just want to take and read, but they don't do anything with it. You're not going to get different sets of results if you're not investing in working with somebody. You're not going to get a different set of results unless you actually do something about it.
Yes.
And it will be painful. And you do have to go there.
Yes. So for people who feel like they're not connected with others, like it took me a long time to connect with people. It took me a long time to connect with myself. What would be something that you can suggest or recommend or talk about to give people, even if it's a small action, like, what advice would you give someone who just in their mind, they want to take that small action, but they don't know
how? There's loads I could say. There really is. Well, there's loads I could say. I'm never short of a word or two. But again, it's what kind of role model do you want to be for your children or your nieces and nephew or the people there's people watching you. There are children watching you. Like I just had a conversation with a lady that we both know. And I asked, why are you so scared of success?
Ooh, that's, yeah.
And this is the thing. It's like, for example, I have my boys watching every move I make, every decision I take in my business. I'm like, boys, what do you reckon? Should I go with this? What do you reckon? Do you think this is a good idea? Or if I've like got a new article in a magazine, or I've been, voted as one of the world's top influencers again, and my boys go, yeah, it's all right. What's next? But I remember, people think it's, overnight success story, but it's not. I've been doing this 22 years. So it is easier for me because I have been that person who has invested in myself. I know that if my boiler goes wrong at home where my boys are and there's no hot water, you can bet your ass I'm going to find the money to fix that boiler. If my children are in hospital and I need to get from A to B, but my car engine's broken, you can bet your bottom dollar I'm going to get that engine fixed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have got stuff in your life that is not working, why aren't you putting yourself as valuable as a boiler or a car engine or the school trip or your mobile phone or your laptop? And this is the thing, people, just to use a really clear analogy, if your laptop is, you're investing, I don't know, $3,000-$4,000 in a laptop, maybe it's only a few $100s in a laptop. Okay. That laptop's probably going to last you anywhere from 2 to 3 years. But the $200-$300 or the $2,000-$3,000 that you invest in personal development and hiring a coach like myself, that's going to last you a lifetime.
Yes, and you reuse it over and over and over and over again.
I've sold my car, Lani, to pay for coaching and pay rent. I have gone, I remember sending my children back to live with their dad for a month while I got my head together. It was the hardest month. I wanted my children back. So you're going to guarantee I was going to do the work.
Right.
I lived on rice and Tabasco for a whole month because I knew that I wanted to go and do that training course. And I knew that by doing that course, you can bet your bottom dollar I was going to get a return on investment. And you know what? That month on rice and Tabasco, I was sick of rice for a while. I've only just started eating rice again. Don't have it with Tabasco. But again, it's like, what sacrifices are you prepared to make to get ahead? And that's the thing, people aren't willing to sacrifice. People aren't willing to cut back. They're not willing to make analogies. So one of the things I really, really suggest to people is find out what it is you truly want by hiring a coach and ask someone, because there are people like myself. Last year, I gave away over $100,000 in coaching on my scholarship program. Okay. Because there are people that I knew that had that fire. They had that passion. They wanted to get ahead. And it was like, okay, do I believe that person is going to make the most of this scholarship program? What is it that you would like to achieve? What is it? What's your investment that you've got right now that you are willing to invest?
Right.
And then if I can see that they are willing to go there, yes, I'll let them on my scholarship program. If they're not willing to go there, then no, you're not going to get you're not going to get a discounted place or a free place. I don't do free, all my writing and my books. Again, if people want to know how I've got to where I am, there are my books out there. They're only $5, $10, $20 a book. But again, people have got to buy the book, to read the book and use the book as a guide.
Yes, totally.
I'm not for everybody, and I own that.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, find out who you are and invest. Make analogies. If you're willing to invest this much in a boiler, or you're willing to invest this much in a laptop or in a holiday, or if you look at how much you spend annually on alcohol and takeaway food or processed food, if you're not willing to invest more than that on personal development, then you don't love yourself. You don't want to get better.
Oh, I love that analogy of like comparing yourself to something material versus as a person, as you as a human. So I really, really love that. And from hearing you talk, I've learned so much from you in general, but really I know that priority and the sacrifice is important. It's not the most pleasant, but but it's something that helps you grow. And I feel like that's part of that standing in strength. Part of that, it encompasses all the entrepreneurship, business, like all that leadership stuff, like all leaders aren't going to be liked by everybody.
No.
Your boss knows that she is not liked by people underneath. It's like, to be that leader, to be that to know and own it about yourself. I feel like that for me, it opens doors because it makes me value myself and builds my self-belief, but also it builds the community around me and it builds my energy around me as well.
Yeah, it does.
So,
and then that's the thing, when people like yourself step up, your movement is so beautiful, getting women to own their strength in all ways. what is the point of having a strong body if you don't have a strong mind or a strong voice or a strong purpose? You know, like all the ladies that took part in your book, you know, the way you led them, you know, the networking, the community you built, you know, the differences in their stories, you know, reading them, it was so, I cried. No, and it wasn't because they were, it was because they were such powerful stories that you could connect with on so many levels. And one of the things that just occurred to me is I was running with a friend of mine in Australia when I was there. And we were saying there about how the people will invest in running and getting fit if they enter a competition, but they won't get fit without entering a competition, because they've got a goal, they've got a target, right? They've invested money. So how do you get to where you want to be if you haven't got a goal and you haven't invested?
Ooh, that is a great, for me as a powerlifter, that's a great, you know, for me, like, I understand that. You know, I have a competition coming up. I put in the work, you know, 3-4 times a week to get to that competition. And it's like, it's coming, that goal is coming eventually, but eventually I got to step up in the platform and do it.
Absolutely.
So,
and it's the same with building a business.
Yeah.
If you know, for example, I'm stepping back from social media at the moment, and I know that I want my team to up their game. That means I'm going to have to pay them more because they're going to be working more hours. That means I need to bring in either more clients or up my prices or create another product. I'm going through a rebrand at the moment, and I've got to, okay, so this is how much the investment is. Because again, it's seeing it as an investment. You're seeing yourself as an investment. You know, me investing in team, me investing in rebranding, me investing in new platforms, me investing in technology, that's not a cost. I don't say how much is this going to cost me, because the costs are me being tired, me doing it all, me being a martyr, me not having time for myself. It's impacting my health. So that's a cost. The money I'm investing in these things are freeing up my time to create more content, and coach more clients. But it's also a way of me investing in others so that they can create their business, they can provide for their family, they can grow their business, which means they can give jobs to other people, they can inspire more people. And so investing in yourself is investing in a community, is investing in the global consciousness, surely.
Yes. So I think the biggest takeaway for me, at least listening to you, is investing in yourself is important for growth, but it will require some sacrifice and prioritizing what is going to either, you know, it's prioritizing your choice.
Absolutely.
You know, and I love that. And that's why I'm so glad that you are on the summit, because people need to understand that business is not fun sometimes.
It's not.
Like, oh my God, you know, you have your own business. That's awesome. It's like, do you understand how many, you know how many times
hours, the creativity.
how long I've been on, how long I've been on Canva trying to do stuff.
And the chaos.
On the chaos. Like, like I think this is great information for women, men, whoever wants to listen to this, because I think it's very valuable for education for everyone to hear. Some people like me who didn't know how to start, and I was all over the place trying to figure whatever out. But then when I finally realized what I needed to do and stop trying to make excuses for myself, oh, I can't do that. It's like jumping all in, instead of just kind of like watching on the outside. And
that's the thing, is like if you're in that space of, I really want to run this business, but I've got this job, I've got to pay the bills. It's kind of like almost like you're running a business and you've got a job. Well, you're giving mixed signals out to the universe. So you either want to have a job or you want to have a business. And it's not until you go all in and work for yourself and run your business, letting go of the job, because the hours you spend on your job are wasted hours if you really want to build a business. But oh yeah, but I still got to pay the bills. Yeah, but with those 8 hours a day that you're investing in your job, you could be investing in looking for clients.
Yeah.
And when you consider you've got 5 days a week, 8 hours a day that you're investing in a job, if you're not picking up clients that could be paying you more than what your job is paying you, then have you really got what it takes to run a business? You know, and this is the thing, it's like people say, oh, but you know, it's going to cost me this much if I hire a coach. Well, use that as your sales target. Let's just say, I don't know, just for ease of numbers, that it costs you 10 grand to hire a coach. Okay, that is either 10 clients at 1,000 or it's 5 clients at 2,000. Okay, it's that break-even point, it's that target, it's that goal that calls you forward. You know, if you've invested that, how many books do you need to sell? How many clients do you need to bring on? How much, how many hours work is that? And it's like, it becomes a game. It's like, okay, well, if I'm investing this much and I've got to pay that by this much time, right, okay, what's next? Get excited about it. Don't see it as a pressure or I have to. Because when you use the words, I have to do this, or I've got to do this, it's very heavy energy. If you say, oh, okay, what's possible? How do I get to do this? How do I get to play in this space? And it's again, looking at everything that's happened in your life. It's not happened to you, it's happened for you. You know, me being ostracized and being excluded at school and not liked by my family and, you know, not feeling like I fit in anywhere has allowed me the space to create me, because I'm not bothered whether I fit in. I'm not bothered whether people like me or not. I'm not bothered whether it doesn't bother me. I like me. I love me. Yeah. And until people learn to love themselves and invest more in themselves than they do in, like you said, hardware or impressing other people, the only person you've got to impress is yourself.
Yep. And I talk about that in some of my, you know, the podcast guesting that I'm on. And it's like, I'm sorry, I love me.
Yeah, you're awesome. I love you.
I love me. I have one of my teammates. She's like, "Are you taking more selfies of yourself flexing?" I go, "Hell yeah."
Hell yeah. Did you not know how gorgeous I am inside and out?
But those are the kinds of messages that I want to leave in the world. You know, there is possibility. There is the positive, love yourself. You know, I love that, you know, idea of just owning yourself, love yourself, put yourself at a valuable price point, you know, like all those things. And I know that people struggle to do that. I was one of them, you know, and I'm, you know, there are still some parts of me I still work through, but it never ends. Like you continue to work with yourself, for yourself, to understand yourself. So we just got to keep going.
Yeah, we have just got to keep putting one foot in front of the other. I mean, the amount of people that have said to me that, oh, it's never going to happen. Oh, running a business is hard. You know,
they don't make books that say, hey, business is easy.
No, they don't. And this is the thing. This is it. You know, it's like, we can compare ourselves to other women. We can compare ourselves to other business leaders. We can compare ourselves to so many different things. You know, and it's like all these Insta-fake models, I call them Insta-fake. I remember having a conversation with a young woman who, oh my God, I felt so sad for her. And I felt sad that I felt sad for her. But she could not, like, I was there with my avocado, my spinach, my onions and garlic and tomatoes, crushed almonds and goji berries, like big bowl of salad for, you know, breakfast. And I'm there having a great time. I'm loving life. And, you know, I'm never going to be a skinny mini. I love food too much. But she was living on 3 eggs a day, just so that 3 eggs a day, just so that she could look good in a bikini and look good on Instagram. She had tens of thousands of followers, but there was nothing of substance about her. And it was really sad because she valued herself so little. She valued herself so little that she would not allow herself to eat more than 3 eggs a day. She was ill. You could tell she was by the skin. She filtered herself beyond recognition. The woman who was stood in front of me and the woman I saw on Instagram, they were poles apart.
Wow.
And it was the first real wake-up call for me, you know, that how little women value themselves, you know, and just how the approval of other people really matters.
So true.
And it's so sad that we as women have got to this point. So is me speaking my truth really important? Absolutely. If it makes these young girls wake up and realize that they just, woo!
Whoopsies. Hi.
The wind, I'm upside down now.
Oh,
I don't know what just happened. Hang on. Let me just, hang on. Is that better? Yay. This is the life of a digital nomad, right? You get these.
This is what I love about just having the conversation with people on the summit, because this is conversation. This is real life. This is conversation. You know, like I'm interviewing everyone just because I want to know. I want to know what their thoughts are, and I want to know how they contribute to the world. I want to know what their you know, what their value in themselves, that they help to value other people as well. So
well, this is the thing. Look at, I mean, I sail around the world writing books and coaching leaders. I'm sat here, I've got palm trees all around me. I've got the Atlantic Ocean there and beautiful white sandy beaches. And I'm a farmer's daughter from Norfolk in England with 200 people in the village who was told she was only going to be a waitress or a librarian. First of all, I'd be the worst librarian you've ever had, because I'd just be like, shh, I'm reading.
yeah.
I know all the books in the library, but I wouldn't want you to take them out, and you certainly wouldn't want you to crease the spine or fold the corner over.
Yeah.
There would be bookmarks on every single table. Book fascist #1 here. And to be a waitress, I'm a fantastic waitress. Absolutely, I am. But it wasn't my passion. But the thing is like me living my lifestyle, I have received a lot of haters, especially from other women, you know, because it's like, how dare I leave my children? I said, well, I didn't leave them. They're with their dad. And if I had a penis instead of a vagina, no one would say anything, you know, and my boys are getting to see through their mum that if you've got a dream, go and live it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not living 500, 600, 700 years ago where the woman stayed at home cooking the meals and, you know, having the children hanging off her apron strings. That model of parenting is so old. Why should I be living in the past? Why should that dictate to me how to be a mother? My children absolutely adore me. They're so proud of me. They egg me on. They tell me I'm not allowed to go home. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not allowed to go home? They're like, well, it's not your home anymore, is it?
Oh my gosh.
I'm like, well, no, it's not actually. But again, how am I going to inspire them to treat women as equals and to honor women as women if I'm just staying home in an old traditional model of, you know, being there, picking up after the children and making sure the children are okay?
Old tradition. Old tradition.
Yeah. And do you know how many men have said to my ex-husband, like, how cool it is that he's actually got the time, that I've actually left him to raise the boys by himself? And how many of those have said to him, and how many men have said to me, I wish my wife would bugger off and leave me to raise the kids? because they don't get the chance to be dad. They don't get the chance to raise their children the way they want to. So we have to stand in our truth. We have to honor who we are, whether that is in business, whether that is in the family, because it's all connected, Lani.
Right.
All of it is connected. When we stand in our truth and own our fire, and we know what it is we want, we can create anything we wish to.
So agree. 100% agree. And that's why I have, I built her.
I built her.
That's the
I love that. I want a big furry fleecy hoodie with I built her, but it has to be the one with the thing that has the things with the pokey hole for the thumb and the really chunky, like I like the really chunky, thick fleecy, like with the big chunky laces. I'm thinking navy blue with grey. That would be perfect. Thank you so much. Can you do that for me, please, Lani?
You're
you
like,
don't ask, you don't get.
Thank you. You're like, please, thank you, and I'll expect that here in like a few months.
Well, when I get to Chicago, I'll pick it up.
Well, thank you, Dawn, so much for being a guest on the Standing and Strength Summit 2. I know you were on my summit number 1, and I knew you were going to bring your fire into the summit.
Thank you.
I knew that we would have conversation that not only educates the women to know that they have access, not only there's people that they can ask, they just have to find out.
They have to ask.
Just ask. I had to do it, and it took me a little over a year to find that courage to ask, but I did it. So I know that everybody else can do it too.
Yeah, they can.
But like the last thing I wanted to ask you, Dawn, like how do people get a hold of you if they want to know more about your services, know about your books, like all that stuff? Like how do people get a hold of you? Okay,
well, if they go to dawnbates.com, all my books and all the books that my clients have published, including your own, all my books are on there. If they want to tap into the Preeminence magazine that I write for, MSP News Global, those columns are on my website. Podcasts are on my website. And if they want to subscribe to my mailing list, it's dawnbates.com/join-me. It's new. The girls are setting it all up. Honestly, I check into my website and either Jerry's done something or the girls have done something. I'm like, so yeah, it's dawnbates.com/join-me, and they can be added to the email list. So they'll get to know what events I'm speaking on. They'll get to know what offers I've got. They'll get to know when new books are coming out. But yeah, that's where they can get hold of me, dawnbates.com. Everything is there.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much, Dawn, for your time today. And I am
Thank
so
you
glad.
so much for doing this, because without women like you creating things like that, then women like me we don't get to serve your community as well as our own. And so thank you so much for being you and for showing up and just being the power lady who built her.
Well, thank you so much. So everybody, this is Dawn Bates. All her contact information, you can find it on the screen. I'll probably put it on the bottom here somewhere. But anyway, I'm so glad that you are here. I'm so glad Dawn is here. I'm so glad that I am here. And you guys have a wonderful day today, and we'll stay tuned for the next speaker. Have a great one, Dawn. Thank you.
Thank you. Ciao, ciao. Enjoy the show, everybody.